Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Earl Cross. Let's take you out now to Flushing Meadow and update the tennis story. Jimmy Connors easily won the first set, 6-3. Right now, Connors is serving at 3-4 in the second set. A development just moments ago. Jimmy Connors, who is suffering from diarrhea, was forced to leave the court. He is allowed to go away under supervision once. They have told Lindell that if he has to leave again, Jimmy Connors will forfeit the match. He checked in today with an upset stomach. But again, in the first set, the story was the fact that Ivan Lendl was battling his nerves. He couldn't calm down. But here in the second set, you can see that the Big Czech is slowly bringing his game back together, hitting winners like that with his backhand down the line. There have been 4 service breaks in this second set. So Jimmy now will be serving. And, of course, it's at 15:30, and we will continue to update that throughout the halftime. But there are a lot of football scores that we also want to bring you up to date on. And the Chicago Bears, in dramatic fashion, pulled one out against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The final was 17-10, and the Bears had to go into the fourth quarter to finally pull it out and win that game. Now, elsewhere around the league, Cleveland and Detroit, as we see here, that this is one of the touchdown passes to Walter Payton. He broke one of 70 yards to get on into the end zone. They isolated him beautifully against a linebacker, and that was the key play. That's the first time that Payton has traveled 50 yards since 1980 for a touchdown. Goldstein was going to Jimmy Giles, the tight end who had a long holdout but played today, and Giles broke this one down to the 1-yard line against Mike Ditka. Jim McMahon now forced to scramble here, and I've been asked several times, what about Willie Gault? How's he doing? Well, here he is at his most impressive best. Getting Long, the sprinter from Tennessee, with a 65-yard reception. Now, Goldstein was under pressure from the Bear defense in the second half. And here, after a fake punt, he forced the ball, and it was Schmidt picking it up and running it back for the touchdown that won the game and gave the Bears their 17-10 victory over the Buccaneers. Elsewhere this afternoon, Detroit and Cleveland. And Cleveland won for the first time in Detroit. The final was 31-26. The Giants and Atlanta. This game went into overtime before the Giants pulled it out for their new head coach, Bill Parcells. Irv?
Parcells had to be happy the way his team came back with Brunner early in the ball game. Goes up and hits Ernest Gray for a touchdown, and the Giants appeared to have things under control, leading 10-0 at that point. Brunner comes back again later in the game, is picked off by Al Richardson, the linebacker from the Atlanta Falcons, who rambles down the near sideline, setting the ball up around the 12-yard line. And from there, Steve Bartkowski goes to work, fighting pressure on the blitz, finding Alfred Jackson in the end zone for a touchdown. The Falcons are back, and the game's all tied up 13-13. Parcells wondering what he has to do to get his cup coming back. On the ensuing kickoff, Mike Dennis, number 46, the New York Giants, returns this ball. Watch this return, a great return, Brent. Along the left sideline, he's hit. It looks like he's going to go all the way down inside the 10, but he's kept on the sideline further upfield for a 54-yard return. In overtime, field goal by Ali Haji Sheikh. And the Giants wind up with a winning score, 16-13 in overtime, and what a comeback for them.
Sure was. And we'll continue here with the NFL Today after these messages from your local stations. In one of the more entertaining games this Sunday, the Pittsburgh Steelers held off the Green Bay Packers and James Lofton 25-21. Lofton would score 3 touchdown passes. Now here is Franco Harris taking a handoff, and of course he went over the 11,000-yard mark today, one of only 3 running backs who's accomplished that great feat, and he did it against Bart Starr and the Packers in Green Bay. And here's Lynn Dickey floating a bomb to James Lofton.
Bomb indeed. He is such a beautiful receiver to watch, Brent. Watch this catch. Just simply demolishes the secondary, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have an outstanding secondary. 72-yard touchdown pass for Lofton.
Lightning is about to strike again.
Well, when you get something going, you stay with it. Dickey liking this big target. Lofton stands 6'3", even though he has sprinter speed. Again, beats the secondary. This time goes in for another long touchdown pass. 73 yards.
Then it was the tough ground game of the Steelers. Consumed time on the clock, got a touchdown, Frank Pollard bolting in, and then there was also a safety. Dickey in deep trouble. gets on into the end zone and simply cannot get out. Bob Coors took him down. It was 23-21 at the time. That was a big safety. Wound up 25-21. Now some of the other scores. Buffalo and Cincinnati. The Bills have not allowed a touchdown in 2 games this year, and they beat Cincinnati 10-6. That was the final in that game. Washington and Philadelphia. The Redskins win their 8th straight on the road, 23-13 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas down St. Louis 34-17. The Cardinals scored the first 10 points in that game. And Seattle and the New York Jets, big afternoon in this one by Kurt Warner. The Seahawks lead the Jets 10-3. They are at the half there. Denver and Baltimore, it is 3-3. They are at the half in that game. And the Miami Dolphins are ahead of New England right now. It is 17-3, also at the half there. The Los Angeles Raiders trying to win for the second time, 13-3. They lead the Houston Oilers in the Coliseum. And finally, of course, the game you're watching from Anaheim, the New Orleans Saints looking much stronger this year. They are ahead of the Los Angeles Rams, 10-7. And, of course, that game is at the half. Eric Dickerson has scored. An update now on the U.S. Open score. They are still in the second set. Jimmy Connors has just held on. It is Lindell 5-4. Last year, these two played 4 sets, and of course, Lindell was the loser. And he looked very bad in the opening set. They are having a court change because they are on the odd game. And just a moment ago, there was a double set point by Von Lindell. Jimmy Connors was able to hold it off and climb back in it now. And Lindell leads it 5-4. So, of course, throughout the afternoon, the second half of the football game, we will update that final for you at Flushing Meadow. And we'll continue with the Saints and the Rams here on CBS in just a moment.